Hey guys, this morning we're in the high tunnel and we are going to collect some of our cherry tomatoes. I want to try my hand at sun-dried tomatoes. I really like them. Everybody in the family really likes them. And we had a bumper crop of tomatoes. Okay, well, I'm done picking, and this is what I've got so far. Pretty nice bunch of tomatoes. I got a feeling this is the first time I'm doing sun-dried tomatoes. Actually, it's the second. The first time they actually rotted. I didn't have them drying properly. So hopefully I learned from some of my mistakes, and you can't put them where a lot of dew is going to get them in the morning. That was my first mistake. I laid them out on our deck, and the morning dew was just so much. We have a lot of dew here in the mornings, and they just didn't dry. They got so wet in the mornings and they didn't dry properly. Now I'm going to dry them in the high tunnel where there's no moisture that's going to get to them. And anyway, now I've got to wash them. I've got to cut all the little top little leaf things off of them and slice them in half. Then I'm going to salt them and lay them on a couple different drying racks. Anyway, washing time. Here we go. First thing I'm doing is I'm filling the bucket with some water, and as you can see, little pieces of leaf and whatnot come on top. And I'm just going to skim these off. This is like a pre-wash. I'm going to get my hand in there, mix them around a little bit, see what floats to the top. It's all pretty clean, a little bit more stuff. We don't use any pesticides or herbicides. We do everything organically, so I'm not worried about washing any kind of poison off of them. And but I want them clean, and I want to make sure there's no little bugs or anything on them. Anyway, this is the first pre-wash. I'm going to go and go to step number 2. Okay, what I'm doing right now, I've got my tomatoes in the bucket. I got 2 different kinds of salt we're going to try. One is, I know the lighting is like really not so great here. Let me put it like this. Okay, the Mediterranean sea salt, and I've got a thing here of just regular table salt. We're going to try 2 different kinds of table salt. I'm going to set up a workstation right here. I've got a little cutting block that I can use. I've got a jar that I'm going to do my final washing on. I've got these really nice aluminum trays. We got those, I think, from Walmart, walmart.com, and they're aluminum so they don't rust, and I'm going to use those to dry the tomatoes. And anyway, I figure it's going to take me a while to do all this, so I want to get a nice comfortable workstation set up for myself. I even got myself a little camp chair, and I'm in the high tunnel, and what I want to do is I want to try and get this done as quickly as possible, because as you can see over here, yikes, that sun is coming out, and even though we have the curtains down, I've got the doors open, we are still, it's going to be hot in here, so I want to get to it, and I want to get it done. All right, next step is cutting and slicing, cleaning and slicing the tomatoes. Okay, this is where I'm going to do the final washing and mixing, or I'm not mixing, washing and, well, this is just actually washing. Isn't that pretty? Hopefully you can see that. I tried to get some help, but the only one that showed up was our new puppy. We're thinking about calling him Spot. It's funny, he just showed up at our farm. Hey, get out of there, what are you doing? He just showed up at our farm. Anyway, what a godsend. What a super nice dog he is. Nice little pup. Anyway, let me show you his face. Come here, boy. What are you doing, good boy, huh? What are you doing? I guess he's only, I guess we've had him about a week now. And what an obedient and wonderful dog this is. Anyway, let's get back to work. Well, we got one tray done. And I still got a bunch more to go. I guess it's kind of dark in there. I still got a bunch more to go, but we got one tray done, and this first tray, I'm going to use the Mediterranean sea salt. Well, on second thoughts, the Mediterranean sea salt is very coarse, and that's not going to work for us. So, sorry, Mediterranean sea salt. I thought it was going to be a great idea. And, you know, I guess when you figure sun-dried tomatoes, you kind of think of the Mediterranean a little bit, so I thought it was kind of a good idea. But in retrospect, it's not going to work. The salt is way too coarse, so I'm going back to my table salt. And we're going to spread a nice, even layer of salt over these. We don't want to be cheap. The salt is going to help it dry out. And anyway, let's salt them up. All right, basically all I'm doing, I didn't bring a big salt shaker, which I should have had. I'm just taking a little handful in my hand, and I'm just spreading it around, trying to get it as even as possible. And anyway, we've got them salted. Now we're going to move on to the next one, the next tray. That tray is looking kind of empty right now. Hopefully we're going to fill it up. Alright guys, tray number 2 is done, and I didn't salt it yet, but at least it's done. Here's tray number 1, and it seems like it takes me, I don't know, about a half hour, I guess, to do one tray, and pretty nice. And anyway, I'm going to salt it, and then I'm going to go and get a wire rack. I'm going to have to build one. I've got some 1/8" hardware cloth, like wire mesh. Or it's probably 1/4 inch actually. I'm going to build something real quick, and I'll use a portion of this table for drawing on the wire rack, and we'll see the difference. I'm noticing on these, again, I'm not sure about the lighting, there's moisture building up already on these. What I may have to do is I may have to take a drill, and I have the table on a little bit of an angle. I don't know if you can see it. I'll show it to you. Anyway, it's on a little bit of an angle, and I'm thinking if there is any excess water or juice, it's going to drain down this way. I may have to drill a couple holes to let that juice escape, but I'm not sure if that's going to actually be an issue right now. And the other concern that I have, I don't know if it's going to be an issue, is flies. I don't want a bunch of flies landing on top of this, so I may have to cover this with some kind of a cheesecloth netting to keep the flies out. Maybe. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, I'm going to salt these. I still have, well, I've got a little bit in here. I'll take these and put them in the big bucket. Here's our dog again. He's been hanging out, watching me. And, oh yeah, I still have probably at least as much as what I did, maybe more. And anyway, now I'm going to go make a little drawing wire mesh, and I'll be back. I've got it turned around here. This is the frame I made. It's about 3 foot by 3 foot, and I'll kind of zoom in a little bit. This is the size of my finger, so these are about 1/4 inch. And that's going to be perfect. I made it bigger than the table because I want to make sure I get good airflow underneath it. And I may have to put a fan on, I'm not sure, but so far I didn't have to on these. Now here are the 2 trays that we made up the other day. You can see they're drawing very nicely. I'm real happy with it anyway. I'll pan around. That's pan number 1. This is pan number 2. And you can see there's a little bit of moisture. I'll try and zoom in here. I've got a little bit of moisture I don't know if that's from the salt or from the juice of the tomatoes. I'm going to assume it's from the juice of the tomatoes. And I'm going to try and get that. I'll probably just take a paper towel and try and wick it out of there, because obviously I don't want to turn the tray and upset how these things are laid out. But I just wanted to give you an update. I didn't get here yesterday, but I did get here today. Anyway, and they're still soft to the touch. I can still squeeze them, but they're definitely they're getting closer. Now, I had an interesting turn of events. My wife told me that I can't do this with cherry tomatoes. I need to use Rome tomatoes, but we don't have a lot of Rome tomatoes that are ripe right now. We are growing them, but we don't have a lot of them that are ripe. And so I'm going to try it with the cherry tomatoes. I already tried it. I already started it, so I'm going to continue with it. And I guess we'll find out if you can do it with cherry tomatoes or not. But so far, I'm real happy with the success. Anyway, check back with you in a day or two. Right, we're here. It's day 5, and you can see our cherry tomatoes are just about done. I think I'm going to call it done. I've got 2 trays of them. So it took about 5 days. And they're actually pretty well done. Kind of like what you buy in the store. A little bit chewy. We sampled a couple of them. And here's the other tray that I made up. Now these are not at all close to being done, but these have only been on here for 1 day. So this is after 1 day, and this tray is a lot bigger. And here we have obviously some bigger tomatoes. Those are like a plum tomato, and we're going to see how they do. Anyway, so they've all been salted. This is 1 day of drying. Let me take one of these. I'm going to pick one of these up, and I'll put it next to the other ones. You can see the difference. So that one right there is 1 day. That's 5 days. And I'm going to put this one back in the 1 day spot. I'll put that right over there. And anyway, guys, so this is cherry tomatoes, sun-dried cherry tomatoes. And I've been giving them to my wife. You can see where like some of the things are missing. I've been giving them to my wife, and she's been sampling them, and she really loves them. Anyway, guys, that's it for the cherry tomatoes and the sun-dried tomatoes. Maybe I'll post a little bit more when these bigger ones dry. Hopefully they do good too. Anyway, guys, have a super day. Thanks a lot, and talk to you later. Bye.